Hello everyone, welcome to OnyxEarth Tarot. Everything you need to know about me is in the description box below. So we are back with another timeless pick a card reading. This is a reading that could be general, related to anything, including love, like I know you often ask about here. So today we're going to be looking at upcoming changes, progression, surprises coming into your life. Now, all from a positive perspective. Obviously, we don't lie here. So if something that is calling your attention shows up, we'll definitely address it. But we're looking for really positive vibes here, positive energy coming through as we move through the next few months within the year, right? So the goal here is going to be to select one of three piles and then at the end have some general messages relating to changes coming based on specific zodiac signs. Now that's the goal. If the video gets too long, we'll probably break it out and it'll be a separate video that'll come within the next day or so with that topic, because I am called to address the zodiac signs specifically. Okay, and that's going to be one video. I'm not breaking it out by zodiac sign. It'll be one video with timestamps for each sign if that's not on this one, if this one gets too long. So again, surprises, changes, upcoming progressions in your life. The thumbnail, if you haven't looked at it, you can go back to the intro. It should be timestamped as well. There's three piles. I'm going to call them suns or bulbs of light. You select 1, 2, or 3, and I will see you at your pile. All right, pile 1. So I'm gonna start with my astrology based decks. I'm gonna pull one card from each so we can kind of get a feel of possible transits, possible sign history, anything that could be affecting you right now as you work through whatever changes that are coming through, as we reveal what changes you're about to work through. And then I'll hop into the Revelations Tarot and possibly some Oracle cards if we need them, okay? So let's see pile 1, upcoming changes. What's the one here? Ooh, you have the waxing gibbous moon, right? And it says manifest. So I love this energy for you right now. So it's letting me know immediately before I even get all of your cards that what's coming in for you is something that you have been actively manifesting. So all of the changes, all of the progressions, all of the positivity coming your way, it may not even be a surprise. If it is a surprise, you'll be surprised that it actually happened. You have at the bottom of the deck, waning crescent B. So obviously just being yourself, being in your own energy, being present in the moment will help you manifest faster, but also it shows that you simply just ride the wave of things as they shift, and it's going to work out really well for you. Positive, like, ooh, I'm calling, like, instead of saying pile 1, I'm calling you positive pile. So look at you, that's great. I love that energy for you. So like I said, just be and allow things to manifest as you've been hoping for them to, and you'll be very surprised to see that they will. Sorry if you cannot see. I'm working on a new camera angle, but I think we're gonna be okay, right? We're gonna be okay. So love that for you. Positive pile. Let me see. Let me get the other 2 decks laid out. We'll talk about it, and then we'll hop into the tarot. And as I said in the intro, this is a timeless reading, so whenever you stumble upon it, it is useful information for you. Your card flew. I'm gonna have to get it in a second, but at the bottom you have full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in your way. That may be a relevant message for you. It is also Leo season. You may be a Leo. Let me grab the card. Ooh, so interesting thing, when that fell, I picked it up in a really bizarre way. Like I did like a backflip with the card in my hand. Like you can't tell from the back. I mean, maybe you can. I don't pay attention to it, like if it's reverse or not, but I'm assuming it was reverse on the floor. And when I picked it up, the tumble I did with it in my hand, like that, made it upright. So you have a new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra. Now, themes surrounding the sign of Libra, they're related to 7th house, right? Libra rules the 7th house. you know, the planet Venus. And so these are contracts, relationships, things that you have to do in as it relates to partnerships, fairness, legalities, balancing, all of those areas. So again, it does say specifically a new romantic cycle begins. So we could very well be talking about a love-based connection, especially if that's something you've been manifesting for yourself, or something that you thought was unattainable for you, or it just wasn't something you were looking for. It just looks like you have manifest and a new cycle in romance beginning. So that's what you have here. Let me pull the other card from the other deck. See what we can get. That's nice. So at the bottom you have Mercury, which rules Gemini and Virgo. Maybe relevant placements. You have think, learn, network, and communicate. So this could be relating to interacting with other people, partnerships, relationships of all kinds, not simply romantic. It's really, you're being encouraged to be a little more social, a little more outgoing in this next phase, and maybe that is part of the surprise, right? Because we are talking about positive changes coming. If you've been kind of in self-isolation, kind of in hermit mode, then you have manifested possibly a romantic connection coming in with other connections that may be platonic, friendly, professional, right? Because you have the card that fell is conjunction. Okay, conjunction is a union, merging and coming together. So if you have romance on your mind, Power One, 100%, this is coming in for you. Whether you are surprised by it or not, that 100% is happening for you within the next, I guess, few months, as we talk about energy shifting and changing and progressing for you. You manifesting a romantic connection. And it doesn't mean that necessarily manifesting from a spiritual perspective so much as it's the energy of you, right? This Mercury that was at the bottom, that communicating, maybe you'll actively begin dating. Manifesting can be very hands-on. We talk about the spiritual plane a lot, the higher planes, but we forget that, you know, the plane of action, right? The fastest way to manifest something is to physically move on it, right? So like we talk about moving around and maneuvering the physical plane as we talk about relationships of all kinds, romantic, professional, platonic, friendships, all of those things that you need to kind of progress and be successful in the world. You're gonna see a lot of that. I expect heightened popularity for you, Power One, coming into the next couple of months. Like really, like a lot of attention coming in, looking at these cards. But again, can't deny that fact, especially those of you that love coming here for love readings. I mean, manifest, a new romantic cycle begins, and conjunction, it's definitely happening for you as it relates to that connection that you've been wanting. Okay, so especially if you're familiar with astrology, a conjunction, those are planets, signs that are right on top of each other, like as in if you don't know, right, if you have a planet, your sun, moon, something, and this other person's planet, sun, moon, Venus, something, and it's right on top of each other in close proximity within the same sign, sometimes not, that's a conjunction. And those planets have to figure out how to work with one another to progress the connection, right? It's deeply impactful when you come into contact with someone with a lot of conjunctions in your synastry, right? So definitely pay attention to the astrology as people begin to come into your life in various forms of connections. Okay, lots of soulmates coming in for you, Power One. Again, romantic, platonic, otherwise. Okay, so let me get this Revelations Tarot deck. And I love how I shuffled, because I always cleanse these decks before I use them in between piles. So in the cleansing of it for preparation for Power One, at the bottom you have the Sun already, which is also Leo energy, and we're in Leo season. So honestly, if you're not a Leo, if you don't have Leo placements, and again, this is timeless, so it doesn't have to apply real time for you. If this isn't in your astrology, it just means that it's coming much faster than you expect, and maybe that is the surprise, right? Because since your first card was manifest, you don't necessarily the changes coming in may not necessarily be the surprise so much as the speed in which they come through for you. So let's see. I'm going to pull 3 cards and take the bottom so we can see what's going on for pile 1 with these unexpected changes. I did see the Fool try to come out. Okay. Page of Cups. Nice, nice. Fighting with these things. And the 2 of Pentacles tried to come out, and I'm like juggling the cards literally, which is interesting considering the fact that that is a card of like juggling situations and trying to find balance. Similar to those scales on that New Moon and Libra card. So let me see if I can get something else. Lots of anxiety coming through. The 9 of Swords hopped in and out and back in again. What is this? The Wheel of Fortune. Makes sense considering the journey of me pulling the second card. So you have the Wheel of Fortune here, Major Arcana energy. Let me pull one more and I will take the bottom and we'll talk about it. Pile 1. Okay, not one more, 2 more. At the bottom of the deck you have the 8 of Pentacles. Let me put this on the table and I will grab these cards. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. We've got the Lovers in reverse. That's Gemini energy. We did see Mercury earlier. Might be issues with communication. We have the Hanged Man, which is Pisces energy. So all major arcana with the exception of the bottom of the deck, which is the 8 of Pentacles and that Page Messenger of Cups. So again, lots of things around communication for you, lots of networking, lots of socializing, possibly lots of dating, or whether it's dating multiple people, dating a person multiple times, lots of things around you learning how to communicate and be more social. Like I said, it's going to be a very prosperous period for you coming in, and I don't know if that's necessarily the shock, but I will say it does seem like you have certain connections coming in, not necessarily prematurely, but before you were quite expecting them, therefore you're not as ready, right? We have the Page of Cups right here, which is very youthful, childlike energy. It often represents children, so it's like some inner child work that may need to happen with you. It also, for me, is kind of an offer, right? You have the Mermaid here offering this cup, right? Lots of offers coming in for you, whether that's friendship, whether that's business partnerships, whether that's a job, whether that is romantic connections, because your luck is turning around, especially if you've been in a period of like a bit of a dark night of a soul, if things have been very difficult for you. Expect things to improve for the better. Regardless, things are going to improve for the better, but leading into the Lovers in reverse, it doesn't mean that you're not getting those things that you've been wanting. It just means that there's a bit of a hiccup in terms of readiness and openness, right? If you're not open to these connections, professional, friendship, romantic, and otherwise, then it's difficult for them to manifest into your world as you've been hoping. So with that 8 of Pentacles, it shows that while you may not feel ready, while you may not be quite sure, while you may not have all the answers, you're 100% ready and building in a way, right? You don't have to be completely prepared for certain circumstances and situations as long as you have the skills to develop, right? Be the openness to develop and grow through them, right? All of our experiences are meant to teach us something. Sometimes we're meant to grow through situations rather than being prepared in advance to maneuver it, right? If that makes sense. So that's something you need to work with, especially with the Hangman following the Lovers card. It's talking about being willing to let go and just allow things to work through as they have to, because the 8 of Pentacles also can, in a bit of a shadow aspect, talk about control issues and wanting to be very hands-on and move all of the pieces on the chessboard and everything. So you can't do that. But again, you do have the skills to maneuver everything that you need to successfully that is coming in for you, so you don't have to be anxious about it, Power 1. So let me see. But definitely, since you have that Libra energy, it is seventh house themes. Again, contracts, business, professional, could be friendships, could be romance. A lot of romance, I'm not gonna lie, here on this pile, especially with this offer. But it could be offers of more fulfilling circumstances, right? More fulfilling contracts, not just necessarily romantic, but more fulfilling professional contracts, right? Could be that as well for a lot of you coming in very, very soon. So I'm going to wrap it up here and move on to pile 2. So, because I do want to try to get to those zodiac signs at the end. I hope this resonated for you, pile 1. If it did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, pile 2, your upcoming surprises, progressions, positive shifting in your life coming through. So I'm gonna start with these zodiac based decks. I'm gonna pull one from each of the 3 decks, and then we're gonna look at the Revelations Tarot. I do have oracle cards on the table in case we need clarification. We're not gonna try to keep this too long because, as I said in the intro, I would like for us to have an end where we talk about the and I stopped shuffling because your card just landed. So maybe we're talking about having enough time as it relates to you, but I want to have enough time to touch on each zodiac sign at the end of the reading. So let's see what we have at the bottom. You have a waxing gibbous, which is connect. So lots of connecting, maybe a huge thing for you within the next few months as we talk about positive changes and things that are transforming in your world. Let me put this down and grab your card. Okay, we talked about it in the pile 1. It is Leo season, so if you're watching this in real time, it could be a sign that this is happening in real time, or that it's going to happen for you very soon, or maybe you're just a Leo or have Leo placements, right? And if you're not watching this in real time, it just means that it's going to happen really soon, right? It's happening faster than you expect. So you have Leo, which is the hero, and that is a heavy thing for you. Look at that lion, beautiful lower chakra energy here, red, orange, and yellow. So lots of physical energy coming in for you, pile 2. Okay, lots of lower energy. Not saying that, a lot of people talk about low vibrational energy like it's a negative thing. It is not. There's the higher planes, there's the lower planes. There's living in spirit, there's living on the physical, right? If you rely too much on either or out of balance, it's always bad, right? If you live too much in spirit, you become a little bit delusional. If you live too much grounded in the physical, then you lose sight of your spirituality and your true nature, right? If you become a little more too primal in that physical energy. So it's all about balance. But again, maybe that is the balance. Maybe you're needing to ground yourself in those lower chakras and those lower energies on the physical plane. So let's see what these other 2 astrology based decks have in store for you. Let's see what we're going to talk about here. How to upcoming changes, progressions, surprises. What's happening? Okay, definitely some energy, lots of Leo energy here, whether maybe I have a lot of Leos here today. Maybe a lot of you are just watching this in real time. Maybe we're just needing as a collective to step into that Leo energy. You have at the bottom of the deck here, new moon in Leo, which is confidence is your key to success. We're not taking it on the table, obviously, because it's not the card we wanted. What is this one? We have new moon. Is that a new moon? Yes, so new moons are a theme for you. So the upcoming new moon may be a big deal for you in terms of timing, pile 2. So you have a new start is coming, which is exactly what we're talking about here, right? We're talking about changes and surprises coming in, but it feels like there's a bit of a reset so far with you having all of that Leo energy come through. There's, Leo rules the 5th house. It rules confidence, personality. It's like star power to a certain degree. It's all about having attention. I know people, kind of like have that perspective of Leo as being attention seeking, but just the energy of Leo here, it's all about presence. It's all about projecting yourself out into the world in a positive way, but also if you've been needing a fresh start, a fresh perspective, that's happening for you. So like I said, surprises, whether or not you are, I don't know if you were just surprised that you're going to get a second chance at something or a fresh start at something, but this is all brand new energy of new and kind of being the star of a brand new situation, right? So, or even if it's not like a brand new situation, a lot of you, I say a lot, but it's like half and half. So some of you are getting a brand new start in a brand new situation. Others of you are kind of, circling back to an old situation or progressing through a present situation with a fresh lens, with a fresh perspective, with fresh energy, kind of being refreshed and rejuvenated. So let's see what this last one will give us. Sagittarius, so lots of fire energy here, okay? You have optimism, exploration, and freedom, and that's exactly what we were talking about just now, right? Fresh start. Some of you are gonna go somewhere brand new, or just whether it's a physical place or a situation. It's gonna be brand new, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be very promising. Lots of learning, growing, developing, because Sagittarius does rule the ninth house of spiritual development, of higher education, just developing new skills, new talents, a new, I'm hearing like reputation, all of those things, just a really positive situation that you're stepping into. And it also rules travel. So traveling is something you've been wanting to do. If vacations is something you've been wanting to take, you'll be able to take a lot of vacations. If that's not something you've been able to do, with that Leo energy, because that is the house of pleasures, right? Leo rules the fifth house of pleasures, of enjoyment, of gambles and such. And then the ninth house rules travels, explorations, growing, exploring new cultures, scenery, things that are not as familiar to you as that local energy. It is more overseas energy actually from you relative to where you are, right? Just a culture that's different from you. So lots of growing, lots of development in this new phase. So whether that is you stepping into a physical place that is doing that, a new situation, or whether your current situation is going to refresh and enable you to live that life, or whether that's like we talk about all this lower physical energy, so it's feeling physical, but some of you, a handful of you, it's not a physical shifting, traveling. If that's not you, it is a higher learning, higher development. You may enroll in a new course, enroll in, in a new degree program, a new certification. You may improve yourself, develop yourself, not necessarily physically through travels, but through maybe the web, the internet for some of you. Now, I will say this is a very, very heavy Leo pile, because at the bottom you do have Leo, which is self-confidence, loyalty, and creativity. So it's all about being confident and comfortable and being who you are unapologetically, and just really expressing yourself. And, you're going to be in an environment where you're able to do that comfortably, where you're going to feel the freedom to do that with that Leo, new moon, and Sagittarius combination. So I love that for you, pile 2. Let me put this down. I'm going to grab the Revelations Tarot so we can get more clarity on what's coming. As I said in pile 1, we do shuffle and cleanse the decks prior to, and shuffling with the intention for pile 2. At the bottom, you already have the World. So we talk about traveling, we talk about cycles, completing, right? Starting a new cycle, beginning as one ends, and you have the World card at the bottom. So I love that for you, pile 2. Let me get some cards. I want 3, and then I would like to take the bottom, and hopefully we can close this out so that it doesn't get too long for us. Okay, pile 2. Let's talk about these positive changes. Okay, I've got 3 cards wanting to come out. I have one that threw itself here, which is the 7 of Cups. So we talk about dreams. We talk about fantasies from a good perspective. We talk about all the things that you've been wanting, hoping for, looking, thinking, what if, one day. Well, I don't want to say today's the day, but the day is near, right? You have the 7 of Cups, which is options, choices, the ability to make decisions, have more say in areas where you didn't before, the opportunity for you to kind of be able to do what you want, without fear, right? So like I said, Seven of Cups is all about options, all about choices. You'll have a lot of choices, a lot of say pretty soon in areas where you haven't been able to, whether that's in that fifth house energy of pleasures and being able to enjoy, in self-fulfillment and enjoyment and friendships, whether that's in Sagittarius energy of development, learning, growing, progressing, traveling. In those areas, you're going to have a lot more options soon if you haven't. And we have the Chariot. So if we're talking about travel and moving around, here is that go, go, go energy. The Chariot is also ruled by Cancer, which talks about, emotional fulfillment and whatnot, the home. So if you haven't been able to travel home, maybe traveling home is going to be a thing, since we're talking about Cancer, which rules the family, the home, specifically the maternal figures in our world. And we have sticking out the Knight of Swords, right? On a mission. I want to pull one more since these three were very, very vocal, and then we will take the bottom of the deck. And that said, okay. If you want to pick pile one, it may be your pile as well. These are very short, so if those of you with a shorter attention span are more likely to watch the whole reading today, because it's looking like it might be about the length of some of the piles. You have the Page of Cups, which was heavy theme in pile one, and then at the bottom of the deck, you're gonna love this. The Sun. It's the Sun. So like I said, lots of themes with Leo, and I don't want, the Leo energy to take over the reading. If you don't have Leo placements, if you are not a Leo, just remember that if you're watching this real time, we are in Leo season. So that sign is very heavily impacting all of our charts right now, right? Because like I said, with the sun being in that sign, whatever aspects to Leo or the sun you have natively or in any synastry are going to be deeply affected by the sign present time, right? And if you're not watching this in present time, just take this as a sign that all of your surprises and positive changes are shifting very, very quickly and passionately for you. And also, we talk about what Leo rules. It rules like your self-expression. It rules your personality. So a lot of personality, lots of popularity coming in for you, pile two, okay? And also, you may have someone with Leo placements coming in. And again, if you're not familiar with astrology, we're talking about not just Leo suns, which we all know about, sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mercury, or simply dominant. Someone may have multiple planets in Leo that may be coming in that's going to deeply affect you during this period. So definitely the case. So like I said, we talk about all of these options for growth, for traveling, for knowledge with the Knight of Swords and the Chariot, for emotional development, especially with the Chariot and the Page of Cups here. So definitely lots of offers, right? Lots of options, lots of offers coming in, whether we're talking about your friendships, being social, whether we're talking about professional, because with those with that Sagittarius theme, it could be education or professional based. Leo is all obviously pleasures and being social, so it could be that you have the Page of Cups on the table. We could be talking about romantic offers coming in, but just the heaviest theme for you is that it's all going to be a fresh start. You get a reset. Whatever it is that hasn't been working, you get a reset. And I don't know if that's a surprise for you, if you've been expecting that, but you get a reset, and you're going to be in a situation where you're viewed very positively if you haven't been already, and you're going to be having lots of options, lots of friends, a lover, 2, 3, whatever your desire is. You're just going to have a lot of attention very soon, and it's going to work out. Like I said, if you want to select pile one, that's possible. If you already watched it, that's great. If you didn't and you don't feel called to it, don't feel pressured to. But like I said, pile two, it's just a lot coming in for you, lots of resets. Okay, so that is all I have for you today. Hopefully this resonated. If it did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, pile three. So we're going to look at your upcoming surprises, progressions, positive changes coming into your life really soon. Hopefully we're going to keep this short. I'm going to start with my 3 zodiac based decks. I'm going to pull one card from each, and then we're going to follow up with the Revelations Tarot and hopefully close this out. I do have other oracle cards if we need to clarify, but so far I have not needed to. I want to keep this short because I'd like to get some zodiac specific messages at the end of each pile, since I feel called to do so today. So pile 3, what kind of positive changes do you have coming in? You wanted 2 cards. I did not take them because they didn't jump out completely. So if there's some hesitation happening, you know, I'm not doing that. So here we go. You have, okay, I guess I'm gonna need 2 cards. So you have Cold Moon, which is hibernation. And I don't normally take this deck in reverse, but I do. It's a number 10 card, so it could be an end of a cycle for you. But we have hibernation in reverse. So I'm going to pull one more. At the bottom, you do have the corn moon of abundance. But I want to pull one more from this deck since I probably should have just taken the 2 that came out originally. And I have no clue what they were. So hibernation in reverse. What is this? So we talk about first quarter moon. So we do have the number 10, which is 1, which reduces to 1 because 1 plus 0, right? And now you have a number 2, which is the 11. So you do have 111 first quarter. So whatever cold phase, whatever phase of feeling out in the cold or feeling locked in a dark room, like I don't know, I'm seeing that, then that is not going to be the case for much longer. If you're still in that energy, or if you've already stepped out of it, this is your confirmation that it is completely over. You have create at the bottom. Let me put this aside so we can finish talking about that hibernation and reverse energy, followed by ignite. So hibernation, you know, we talk about the animals that hibernate in a cold month, right? Like it's like you've kind of been in that period, whether it's a hermit mode, whether it's self-isolation, whether you've been forced into isolation against your will, you haven't been able to do the things you wanted to do. Whatever the hibernation energy is that is now in reverse, or that has been in reverse because you've been actively resisting it. Now you're coming into a phase that's that surprise of it's time to ignite that. It's time to ignite that fire, right? We have all of that cold energy and that cold moon, and now you have a fire that's being ignited in this first quarter of, okay, now it's time to begin, right? You have the 0, 1, and now we're stepping into the 2 energy of beginning, right? We're igniting. It's time to begin to move, plan, and kind of step out into the world, whether we're talking about literally or we're talking about figuratively. That's the energy that's coming in for you, whether you're already in it or it's coming very soon. Okay, so let me grab this Moonology deck, and we're gonna grab hopefully one from this one, and then we'll pull from the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck, see if we can develop this energy further. Just now when I split the deck, I did see conclusions are within reach, so that may be a thing for you. Let's see what's going on here. Pile 3. What's going on for pile 3? What's coming in? Surprises, blessings. I heard the word blessings. Let's see, pile 2. Okay, that's a lot of cards. I'm not gonna fight back. Let's take it. At the bottom we have, I'll put it on the table because this is very interesting. First quarter moon again, right? Your commitment is being tested. So you're gonna be my very loaded pile. Let me put these 3 cards that came out, make a little space for you, pile 3. Because now you have 2 first quarter moons on the table. First quarter ignite, first quarter moon, your commitment is being tested. You may be one of my pals from previous readings that need to be told things more than once, because full moon eclipse, which is conclusions are within reach, definitely came out. And I'm realizing as I'm looking back at the image I created for this, that this looks exactly like the moon you selected. So maybe eclipse, you know, season. I think we have some eclipses coming up. That's going to be very relevant for you. Okay, conclusions are within reach, full moon eclipse. So I didn't realize that when I selected that image for your pile. That's completely coincidental. And I didn't even realize it when I split the deck. So here we go. We got full moon in Capricorn. The end of a tough cycle approaches, perfectly complementing conclusions are within reach. And we have blue moon. You can't make it up. It says believe in the impossible. Because now that I'm looking at this blue moon card, I'm realizing, let me just, I'll put it back. I won't leave it messy if you're a neat freak. Look at that. Cold moon, right? Cold moon, and then hibernation on there, and then you have this winter energy of blue moon. I'll even, let me put this hibernation back in reverse. We're not gonna leave it messy. And then we have, where is it? Here. Your commitments being tested. Look at these two full first quarter moons, right? So, and then you have nothing is set in stone. That may be relevant message for you. So look, I put it back. So, but it's giving fall winter energy, especially for you though, because you know you have that cold moon. You have Capricorn, which is a winter sign. You have that blue moon, which is like a winter themed. All of these are full moons on the table, I'm realizing, except your full first quarter. So you got your first quarter moons, and then you have all these full moons, a blue moon and a full moon eclipse on the table. So there's a lot of things happening for you right now. But I am very optimistic for you, Power 3. Very glad to see that whatever cold energy, whatever this freezing energy, ice style, traumatic experience that has passed over for you is over, right? You have ignite, you have conclusions are within reach, the end of a tough cycle approaches, believe in the impossible. So if you're the type that genuinely does not believe good things can happen to you, this is truly going to be the surprise of your life, because things are going to shift completely for you. And if you're still in this transition, as it appears a lot of you may be, again, conclusions are within reach, the end of a tough cycle approaches, like it's happening. And Capricorn does rule the 10th house. That is the only indicator of zodiac we have here on the table. It rules the 10th house of your professional careers, not jobs. That's 6th house Virgo energy, career, social status. Capricorns are notoriously known for working very hard, being very serious, taking themselves very seriously, whether that's your sign or whether that's just qualities that you have. Lots of 10th house themes. Also rules the father. So those things all affiliated with that. So again, social status, professional career, social status, things possibly a father, those themes, right? And look up other things that could be related to the 10th house if that intrigues you. But those are heavy themes for you that this transition is going to happen very positively for. And if there's some opportunities coming through or situations that you didn't think were things that could happen for you, definitely going to see that shift. So I'm loving this for you. Just be open to the fact that, and I say open, but just bear in mind, Power 3, that you're in the first quarter right now, right? You just stepped out of hibernation with hibernation in reverse, right? Ignite, like it's just the beginning. Whether we're talking about like developmental things, whether we're talking about like opportunities, whether we're talking about, like, think of it like, for example, like if we're talking about fitness here, completely random. Some of you may be genuinely asking about that. That's why I'm using this random example. But let's say we're talking about fitness. Well, you have a journey to wanting to be in shape. You want to run X amount of miles. You want to be able to lift X amount of weights. Well, you're not going to wake up and be able to make that immediately, right? You're not going to be able to wake up and hit that mark immediately. So you have to take the journey, right? You're only in the first quarter. So just be open to maneuvering through the situation. And it may be very well a full quarter that it takes, or multiple quarters of the year that it takes for you to get to where you want to be. But I am seeing that it is very possible for you, and that it's going to happen. It's just, again, you're only in that first quarter. Just give it some time, maybe closer to the end of the year, as we talk about winter and whatnot. And since I did it in the first two piles, when I cleanse my decks, my tarot decks, I cleanse them obviously every single time between piles, and I just lay it there without looking. Here you have the Hierophant. So if we're talking about that it's not a Capricorn rule card. It's still Earth sign. It's Taurus. It's ruled by Taurus, which is second house of like ownership, assets, things, things that you own, all of the physical things that you have and whatnot. It does complement that 10th house Capricorn energy very well, because again, Taurus is the fixed sign of Earth, whereas Capricorn is the what is it? cardinal sign, sorry, the cardinal sign of initiating energy. There you go. So it starts winter. So we have ignite, we're talking about first quarter. It literally, yeah, it is. It's the cardinal sign of winter, which cardinal signs are that ignition of each season. So it is the beginning of winter. So that's interesting that that came to mind when I was talking about that just now. So in Hierophant rules structure, it rules your religious upbringing, it rules, what is this? Something you haven't been moving on. What is that? Two of Cups, could be some type of connection. Taurus also rules is ruled by Venus, so that may be relevant. But as we're talking about this Hierophant energy, this Hierophant is it could be related to those 10th house themes of professionalism, of business, of opportunities, of structure, higher education, knowledge. It is the physical learning of things like religion, whereas you have those spiritual elements that would have been in like the high priestess and whatnot. This is more like a intellectual stance on things like religion and spirituality, so that may be relevant for you as well. So let's pull these 3 cards and take the bottom of the deck, and we'll close this out for you. Pile 3. Let's talk about your changes. What is that? So I'm not going to take these because it's 3. Let's talk about it. Let's just take them. I know I'm hesitating myself. I said we weren't going to do that, but let's just take them. So 3 cards fell on the ground in reverse, and then at the bottom of the deck we have the 9 of Pentacles. So that's that personal success. We talk about achieving goals. Here on the table you have believe in the impossible. 9 of Pentacles is very, very independent energy. Very, very independent energy. It is someone that would kind of want to go it alone and whatnot, especially since you have that Capricorn energy, which is like the end of a tough cycle. Like, I don't know if that hibernation in reverse is you feeling alone in certain situations, but definitely not gonna have to do that going into this. Conclusions are within reach. So 9 of Pentacles is also what I kind of associate with like Virgo energy. So that means we've had all 3 earth signs touching the reading at some period of the pile. And then you have the King of Wands reverse, which I like this deck because you can actually see images in the reversals. So there's an eye there. There's someone really observing this King of Wands, and in the background, which seems to be a kind of a serpent figure. And then you have the 2 masked individuals. So there's a King of Wands in reverse here, whether that's you or someone close to you that's being very closely watched for whatever reason. So let me pull this out. You got the 6 of Wands in reverse. We see this here. Kind of a bit of a combative energy. Ooh. I said we weren't going to do this today. Look at y'all, pile 3. But now I have to do it. Okay. So we've got the 3 of Wands in reverse. So let's talk about it. I may pull more cards for you just to see what's going on. But if those of you that needed clarity that this is your pile, this is more development into the situation that left you in that hibernation and reverse energy, that your commitment is being tested. So it's kind of it's like a heavy energy of possibly like some jealousy here, whether it's people that are jealous of you specifically, jealous of certain opportunities that you have, possibly feeling that you're undeserving of certain things that are happening for you as you step into that 9 of Pentacles energy. Let's see. Some of you, this is people. Let me see. I have so much energy coming through right now with these reversals. So like the 3 of Wands is energy that's kind of, I'm reading it as more present, because 3 of Wands is like long term. It is something that you've kind of put into place and you're waiting for your time for it. So in reverse, I'm reading it as something that's coming possibly prematurely. And the 6 of Wands is kind of like a card traditionally of victory and success. and it's coming through as not successful or possibly undeserving of it. And you, like, again, that King of Wands is someone that's super creative, super like authoritative, someone that's really out here doing things really successfully. But in the reverse, it's like you're not really doing that great at what you're doing. So I don't know if there's people out there feel like you're kind of biting off more than you can chew, or you know, even the Nine of Pentacles, with that being very self-serving energy, maybe people thinking that you're very selfish, and that's why you've been kind of iced out, because I think I used that term earlier, like from certain people or certain groups or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's looking like whatever that is, you can turn that around with believing the impossible, and that the cycle of that is going to end, right? You have the end of a tough cycle approaches, conclusions are within reach, your commitment is being tested. It's seeing if you can push through, right? And kind of ignite and kind of step into that King of Wands energy, because whether or not, because I see Six of Wands as very social energy, because it is all about praise and accomplishments and people praising you. And then the Three of Wands in this deck, there's three individuals in it upright, and then there's the one lonesome individual in it in reverse. So it's like, now that is, I'm associating that as a card of loneliness, as well as that Nine of Pentacles. Like the Nine of Pentacles is someone that's very successful but alone, right? Like they're successful on their own. This isn't necessarily someone that would be able to support a family, or even, depending on the circumstances, even wants to help support a family. They just rather do their own thing. So it's like, here, with that being here, it's just making me feel like there's a lot of development that has to happen, that's going to happen, and that your commitment is simply being tested in this phase, and that you're going to be well. You just have to believe in the impossible and be committed to the long term with this. So let me now I have to, and look who's back. I slid that Nine of Pentacles off because I wanted to pull more cards and just get a little more clarity, since this pile is getting really long. But you have the Hierophant. So with that card being there, still, it's talking about structure, it's talking about commitment, it's talking about development. I have two cards in my hand right now, and I want to see what's at the bottom. It's talking about development, it's talking about growth. Like we said, when we talk about developing spiritually, people talk about like, think of the High Priestess, we think of meditation, we think of all of the esoteric and metaphysical aspects of it, but people forget that it's very intellectual. There's the whole mentality of it, the unlearning of certain thought processes, the therapy sessions, right? Like the therapy sessions of working through your belief systems and whatnot. Because again, the Hierophant is the intellectual, I guess, personification of those spiritual developmental practices. It is how it is physically going to church versus lighting a candle. It is, you know what I mean? Like it's all of those things. It's reading the text. It is understanding the text depending on your religion. And it is, again, intellectualizing it. So we may be talking about intellectual development here as it relates to this pile. So there's things that people around you have been kind of, I guess, on you about, as it relates to your growth and what it is you need to be doing. And so it's not that it's unattainable, it's very attainable. That's going to be the shocking surprise for you that's coming through, is that lack of self-confidence that you have. You can do it. You simply have been, I think I said earlier, rushing the process and kind of moving a little faster than your development, whether we're talking about in romance, whether we're talking about professionally, like in terms of like starting a family, whatever your situation is, you kind of got a little bit of ahead of yourself, which isn't bad. We learn through situations all the time. It just means that you have to be a little more patient with yourself and understand that not everyone's going to be patient with you as you grow through these things. So the two cards that landed in my hand are the Lovers upright and the Page of Swords. So, and at the bottom we have the Knight of Cups. So we have a lot of youthful energy here with Page and Knight. And for me, it's talking about that hyper independent energy, and that Nine of Pentacles and that Three of Wands reverse, right? Because Three of Wands reverse, I'm also seeing it as not having the patience to wait long term in that group with it, where it would have been upright, just rather just rushing it to yourself just to simply get something done or to do something in what you consider to be a timely manner. And then you have like this Lovers, this Page of Swords that's saying, okay, sometimes the best way to get something done is kind of in that Gemini energy of communicating with more than one person, not doing it alone. Because, you know, the Lovers is partnerships. It is romantic connections. We could be talking about a romantic connection and you being hyper independent and not knowing how to merge with another person. But for a lot of you, it's one, the other, or simply both, right? We could be talking about that 10th house energy of partnerships and teams and career. We could be talking about your romantic partnerships. We could be talking about those groups in that localized thinking of Gemini. All of those things could be relevant to you since this is a general reading. But it's feeling like coming in is going to be you learning how to communicate more effectively, because the Page of Swords is messages. It's messages, it's knowing how to speak, speaking clearly, making your expectations clear, making sure you're understanding other people's expectations and what they need from you, and being able to execute effectively with that Knight of Cups, moving from a more compassionate way, moving from a more group idealized way versus that self, me, I perspective, like growing beyond that. Because that hibernation in reverse is also someone that is isolating themselves to their detriment, right? So there's also that. So again, with the Lovers, it could be romance, especially with the Knight of Cups, maybe someone specific coming in to help you in development of that area, helping you communicate more effectively, right? There could be a specific partnership coming in that's going to force you to communicate more effectively, for you to collaborate more efficiently, for you to stop trying to do things on your own hyper independently. That's what I see coming in for you. And it could be very scary, but I don't think that that's the case, because I see an energy of your commitments being tested, right? Especially if we're talking about a romance. We're talking about a tough cycle, the end of a tough cycle approaches, conclusions are, you know, within reach. It's feeling like you're almost there, right? You're in the first quarter. It's just the beginning. You're almost there, Power 3, where you can be open and push through and develop in whatever these scenarios I've been talking about so far for the last 20 minutes are. Like, you definitely have it in you to push through and to push above, like to rise above, especially with that blue moon and believing in the impossible. No matter how impossible the circumstances seem, I promise you've got it, okay? So that is all I have for you today, Pile 3. Hopefully this resonated. If it did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.